All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Canada Hoops. It's your boy Matty. Thank you for your continued support. Please keep downloading and sharing us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit us up on Instagram and X.com. Our big time guest today represent Portland, Oregon. He is a former Jesuit Crusader, Kentucky Wildcat, Gonzaga Bulldog, and Houston Rocket, and he is currently playing for Ryer Venezia in Italy, and of course, he has represented Canada basketball with the senior men's national team a lot. Most recently at the 2025 FIBA America Cup, he is Kyle Wiltjer. Kyle, appreciate you joining us on Canada Hoops, man.
Of course, man. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm excited to talk some Canada hoops with you.
Yeah. I know it's a busy time for you. You got a young family, and I can kind of relate to that. Going a few years back anyway now, but do really appreciate it. How are things, man? Just let the listeners and the Canada basketball community know how you're doing, just kind of where you are right now, man.
Things are going great, man. I had a couple years off from Canada basketball, and was very lucky to get invited. With the recent coaching change and emphasis on playing more European style, and so my name was on the list. They called me up, and I was happy to join because for those of you who don't know, my dad was basically raised and bred in Canada basketball, and he's super passionate. And that's the reason I have my passport is because of him. So I got it at a young age, and I've played for Canada ever since. I think maybe first event back in man, maybe like U17, U19, San Antonio, something like that.
Yeah.
And ever since, it's just been a part of who I am. And so this last summer, I got to play in those games and represent Canada again. It's something that means a lot to me and my family. So I'm super glad to be in the program again, and I think I'm going to be included in the plans moving forward. So I'm just want to show up every time I can and make the country proud and make my family proud. So for me, that's kind of where I'm at with Canada. Professionally, I'm playing in Venice, Italy. Very fortunate to be out here in a good club, playing Euro Cup, playing international competition, and then playing in the Italian league. So it's high level hoops. You can't take a day off out here. Every game's important, and I think I can bring that knowledge to Canada basketball in the windows and hopefully in the summer.
Yeah, no, man, I'm glad you brought up just, being back with the program. I think a lot of us that really lock in on it, we're excited to see that. Brought some much needed shooting and skill set in that sense. And then, just obviously it does mean a lot to you and your family. And I just want to ask about, like, the sacrifice, man, and just the commitment to continually show up to these windows. Like, I'm gonna, I don't know for sure, assume you're gonna be probably in the November window here. Can't they announced it yesterday that the home game is in Toronto. So, what's that been like to just try to navigate that? In terms of, like, you gotta make sure that's something that can work for you and your wife and so on and the kids. Like, just why is there just the conversation, but why is there also, like, just no hesitation to do that, to make the effort and commitment, man?
I mean, there's no hesitation just because of the fact that it's a pride thing. It's an honor anytime you're mentioned in that list of whatever the roster is, 12 guys or 14 guys, or even if it's a player pool of 30, to be mentioned on a senior national team, it's a pride thing. And being in Europe has really taught me how important that is. They live and die by basketball here. So for me, I think it's only difficult just because of the distance. I'm playing in Italy, just getting stateside or back to Canada is difficult, just flight wise, flight patterns. But
Yeah.
for it's just worth the sacrifice in my opinion because the every window's important, every game's important. You have to qualify. You can't just walk and be in the World Cup. There takes a grind before that to get there. And so, if you're called upon and it's your time, it's your time to show up. And I think that's an important trait that I know Rowan and the coaching staff wants to instill in the players because we have to be able to count on guys and have them available. And then also every event's different. It takes its own story and you need different players. So if you're not called upon one window, you don't need to take it personally. You just, put that aside and just work on yourself and say you're better the next time. And that's what I've tried to do is just continually get better, even though, I'm probably on that second half, entering that second half of my career, going in on year 10. So just continuing to strive for excellence and doing the best and becoming the best person I can be. Not only for my professional career, but like you said, is not thinking twice when Canada calls me.
No, that's awesome, man. I mean, I know everyone really appreciates it. It takes a large pool of guys to get qualifications done. We saw that in the last World Cup, and I know no matter who played in what window, like a lot of love was shown, and rightfully so. And then you just what's in Venice this year. You got a good team in Euro Cup. What's maybe a personal goal for you this season, there, man, as you start the year?
Yeah, for me is I just I want to win, and I think it's easy for young players to say, but to really back that up, it really is tough, because a lot of guys, they kind of get lost in their own stories. And just for my professional season this year, as I want to do whatever it takes. Some nights I might score 30, some nights I might score five. I might rebound 10 one game and five the next. It's just whatever I need to do to help my team win. That's kind of where I'm at in my career. And especially when I go play with Canada, is like I don't care what role you give me, I'm going to just do the best in that role, defensively, offensively, whatever you need from me. I'm just leadership wise, whatever it takes. That's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, it sounds like you've kind of embraced more that vet part now, eh? With year 10, like that's cool to see because I've kind of seen that in your game, right? So it's starting to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that's just it. Just kind of changes upon each event, with different guys. And I just want to compete with the best. And right now, Canada has a great pool of players, and
Yeah,
it's fun to see. A lot of young talent. I got to see it live. I got to see all the talent in the gym, and Coach Gordy came in, and we had basically every player part of the program. And when you have the NBA MVP showing up just for a meeting, it speaks volumes of the program and where we're at
yeah.
and where we're going. And so it starts at the top with Shea and it goes down. It's not just about him as a player, it's about him as a leader. And him showing up to that means that Canada basketball means business, and it's fun to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's cool. The program's in really good hands and moving forward. And I don't know if you saw this. They announced like a pretty good TV deal with TSN here in Canada yesterday. So that's massive for everyone here to really lock in on the games and make it easier to watch everybody and guys like yourself and to support the program. Um, Man, just tell me about you're living in Portland, you're growing up. Obviously, Big Greg is an impact on you in terms of basketball. He played big time games and Olympian for the program. But just how does the game start to take shape for you, man? I'm just wondering about that and just growing up and maybe if you played other sports as well.
Yeah, I grew up pretty much basketball my whole life. I played a little baseball, soccer in youth, but
Right.
it wasn't like my dad. My dad grew up playing hockey, traditional Canadian, and I guess he didn't even touch a ball till he was 18. They said they couldn't find skates big enough for him up in Yukon.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
he grew out of the hockey game, and he said he took it over to basketball, and he was traditional big, rebounder, bruiser. And so when I was born, he had the ball in my hands early age, and he sent me to some shooting camps because he said he didn't know how to shoot. He couldn't teach me, so that's kind of where I got my shot. There wasn't a secret formula. I just kind of developed a jump shot from, him sending me to camps, and I kind of touched on it earlier, but I got that Canada passport early on because it was something he thought about before I was even competitive or good. 10 years old, 12 years old, I don't even remember what age, but he got that passport in dreams of me suiting up for Canada someday. And it
Nice.
wasn't even a question, even though I was born and raised kind of in the Oregon, which is in the US. I kind of always bled Canada basketball. It's kind of an unorthodox story, but it just is what it is. There's pictures of my dad with Canada jerseys all over the place, and a lot of his friends, Howard Kelsey, Rowan obviously played with him. Steve Nash, we'd always go to games growing up. Whenever Steve was in town, he'd give us tickets. So, kind
Nice.
of developing that at an early age, it always felt like Canada basketball was home for me. So that's kind of where the story kind of took place and kind of how I got to where I'm at today.
Um, I know like the shooting, you developed that pretty early, and it just like your high school story. From what I have for notes, and people don't know, big time high school player, three state championships, and Jesuit is a really good school in itself. I know you made a mark there. Like what you're going through that time, you obviously know like your game is starting to really develop and elevate, and there's recruiting, and there's I know you played in the Hoop Summit, right in Portland. Like, was the Hoop Summit the first time you really kind of wore the Canadian flag on your chest? Was that kind of the first opportunity?
Yeah, I think there was something before that. I think it was like the Global Jam or
Okay. Okay.
something in Portland. There was a Nike event, and I just kind of took off on that high school grassroots scene, and that's kind of
Yeah.
how it started. And then, like I said, I think it was like some event in San Antonio, maybe U19, or where
Okay.
I started really playing competitive with Canada, which kind of just started it out.
What's like you're really starting to lock down your offers and the recruiting. Like, take me through that. You could have went anywhere. I think a lot of our listeners and the Canada basketball fans know that. Like high recruit. Just take me through that process, and what was important to you at the time, and how you navigated that, and why you ultimately made the decision you did, man.
I was really lucky to have such a, blessing with a lot of colleges and a lot of opportunities. But at the time, it really came down to, a couple of the favorites was Gonzaga and Kentucky. So I chose Kentucky in the first time because I wanted to be around NBA players and see if I had what it took. That's just kind of my mentality. And at that time, they were the ones breeding and sending the most players to the NBA. So it wasn't like I wanted to go there and be a one and done player. It was more so, hey, if I can't be an NBA player, I'm going to find out pretty quick. And so for
Yeah.
me going there, it was like the ultimate challenge. I already, was high level playing against these guys, so I felt like I could do it. So I did it. What a wonderful experience. 2 years, won a championship, and then I ended up transferring to play with my fellow Canadian Kevin Pangos.
Yeah.
It started out as kind of a rumor that I was transferring, and then when that kind of came out, Kevin had reached out and was like, "Hey, are you coming? Are you thinking about coming here?" I said, "No, not really, but man, it would be fun to play together because we were actually playing, I think, in like Russia at the World University Games together."
Yeah.
And so we kind of started talking about it, and I was blessed to go to Gonzaga, which was my number two school. So I got the best of both worlds, and there I kind of followed the Kelly Olynyk path, a player I looked up to tremendously. He had this redshirt year and improved his game, and so I was lucky to go to Gonzaga, have an amazing strength coach there. Really worked on my game and kind of transformed how I played in college, and that really took me to that next level and to finish out a strong college career.
What's obviously in Kentucky, played for Coach John Calipari, um, and then you go to Gonzaga, Mark Few, like two of the best, like no question. Just maybe give me something about each coach that really sticks out for you, because I don't think a lot of guys can say they play for both those head coaches.
Yeah, I mean, two very different styles, but I think one thing that they both do, but Coach Cal especially, is he's just a master motivator. To this day, I'd run through a brick wall for him, and the fans see him screaming and yelling, but it's all out of love, and he puts you in a position to succeed, and he instills confidence in his players, and that's even when I was trying for the NBA. I was speaking with him, and he gave me that confidence to go and get it. And because I was having overseas offers, and I stuck with it, was able to make the NBA my first year. A huge result of me going to Kentucky gave me that confidence. And then Coach Few is a player who really just helped me. He's got a master playbook at Gonzaga. Where Kentucky, you have your system. It's very simple. You get in great shape. You're running and gunning, but Gonzaga really helped me well round my game. I played in the post, I played outside, and that was kind of how Kelly played at Gonzaga. And so for me, playing for Coach Few really helped me elevate my game and has probably helped me have such a well-rounded European career. Because over here, you have to kind of do it all. You can't just shoot or just do one thing. And so I credit both coaches to helping me succeed, and I'm very grateful for it.
Oh, that's really cool, man. Like, I've always, um, maybe through all the Canadians that have gone to Gonzaga, I've kind of become a fan of the program. They're easy to watch, and Coach Few seems like a really great guy, and everyone just raves about him. I wanted to touch on a little thing. I reached out to I don't know if you know Andy Patton. He hosts the Locked On Zags podcast, and he just kind of recently had a little piece of an episode where he was talking about kind of the all-time Canadians that played at Gonzaga. So I told Andy you were coming on the podcast, and he was like, "Well, what about ask him about like maybe a 5 versus 5 of Gonzaga Canadians and Kentucky Canadians." So I just kind of want to run you through some names. So if we put you at Gonzaga, or we can put you on both, like Gonzaga would have you, Kevin Pangos, obviously, Kelly Olynyk. We'd have the Nemhard brothers, and then maybe Big Rob Sacre as a six man,
There
and
you
then
go.
great squad, right? And
Yeah, great
everyone's
squad.
had everyone's had great pro careers. Ryan's kind of getting his going, I guess, and then Kentucky would have SGA, Jamal Murray,
Hmm.
going back to Big Jamal McGlure,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Trey Lyles would throw Trey in there, and then I guess technically, well, we could slide you over, or we could have technically Shaden Sharp did
yeah.
go there, but didn't really play, right? So
Right.
who do you think might win on that 5, man? That's a great. That could be a
That's
Canada basketball
yeah.
10 right there.
Oh yeah. I'm
Yeah,
rocking with my Zags, man, right now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I gotta rock. I love playing with my fellow Zags. It's been fun. I've been able to suit up with some of those guys with Canada too. So it's been fun
Nice.
seeing them. And yeah, no, those are some good talent right there.
I think it's cool. Like at Gonzaga, obviously, like not only has it been a great place for Canadians to go, but they've succeeded, right? Like it's not just one thing to go there and play whatever role, but going beyond their time there. And when I say this, it's obviously there's been great success for Canadians there and moving forward in their pro career, but everyone references their time there, like you have today. Like it's just Andrew has exploded for the Pacers, and just kind of really blossomed into a star for them. And, he talks about his time there and his development, right? So, if there's got any young Canadians out there, dream big and look at Gonzaga, man, because they do a great job, right?
For sure. Yeah, their player development's on point. And yeah, it's been a blessing to see, or really cool to see Andrew succeed, because I saw him when he was kind of on the rise. He was on my team when we went to the World Cup, I think in
Right.
2019. So to see his growth has been great. I mean, it's so many young Canadians' growth. It's been awesome.
Yeah. I mean, just a cool, it's like Canada U there, man. It really is. So I think people have really enjoyed that. Talk about going pro, man. Like, you go, I know you went undrafted in the NBA draft, but just take me through workouts, what that was like. I'm just curious to know about your process, any decisions you made leading up to it, man.
Yeah, for me it was it's a grind. I make a joke, even I'm 10 years in. I tell my trainer every summer, "Hey, this is the biggest summer yet."
Nice.
And he's like, "Hey Kyle, you've told me that for 20 years in a row now." So but that's kind of how basketball is. You can't take a year off. You got to always grind. And nothing changed from rookie year until now. The only thing, rookie year, I had the decision: do I go straight overseas or do I try for the NBA? And I just went for it. I had 13 NBA workouts,
Wow.
probably played amazing in 12 of them. One of them, I remember being so tired because of all the other ones.
Right.
But I played so great in all of them, and I just knew I left it all on the table. So draft night was a blessing for me, because I kind of knew I was going to go undrafted in my mind. I just prepped myself. I'm always prepping for the worst, and it ended up being my best case scenario, because late in that second round, there was a couple teams that were potentially going to pick me up, and my agent said, "Hey, it's better to go undrafted and sign with Houston, because they have a system that's coming into place with Coach D'Antoni coming in that really values 3-point shooting." So I took his guidance, went undrafted, signed maybe 5 minutes after the draft with the Rockets on a partially guaranteed deal. And I had to go in there and beat out some really good veteran players in training camp. But I just stayed true with the grind and didn't worry about anything else, didn't worry about the numbers. I think players are too worried about the day to day, or was I showed up every day like I was on the team and carried myself like that, and that was a great fit for me my rookie year. Got to learn from some unbelievable players like Ryan Anderson at my position. Trevor Ariza was playing the four a little bit, and Sam
Nice.
Decker. So, and then obviously seeing the greatness of James Harden live in person was a blessing, and it kind of shaped me as a player. And then I was able to go overseas right after, and I've had I think 9 amazing seasons overseas, traveling the world with my family, living in Italy now. Got my girl speaking Italian. It's super special to see all the different cultures of the world, and I obviously wish I was in the NBA, but it's quite a secondary prize getting to see all this amazing culture.
No, that's great, man. I know, like, um, the NBA opportunity was somewhat short, but you're playing in some great leagues. Geez, you played in Greece and Turkey, China, Spain, Italy. Like, do you have a favorite stop? Like, obviously now there's family factors for your wife and your kids, but is there a place that really stands out that you've maybe enjoyed the most so far?
I mean, yeah, before this year, I was a big fan playing in Spain.
Right.
I bought 2 houses in Spain. I loved it so much. I rent those out, but I honestly now, once you get the family in it, I'm in my third year here in Venice, and so we've really been able to soak up this culture. And Italy's a special place. My
Nice.
girls are speaking Italian. I'm trying my best to learn it. They're going at a much faster pace. That's just kids are special. They just
Yeah.
soak it up. But Italy is probably my favorite, just overall, just raising a family because it hits deep. We feel like we're in a very special place living in Europe. It's a slow living here. I bike to practice, I bike home.
Cool.
Our day consists of getting little cappuccinos and chopping it up with the locals. So my life isn't bad. After practice, I can't complain. So it's been fun here.
Well, I mean, that sounds great, like an amazing life. And then, basketball wise, like the talent and the competition is excellent. You guys are in the Euro Cup, which is tremendous. And then, it's really going through, like, obviously the Spain league in Spain is kind of regarded as the second best outside the NBA. So there's a lot of ex NBA guys there. The competition is great. And you've had a great 10-year career there, which is a lot to be said about, man, for sure.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's been a blessing. And yeah, it's like it's crazy because I mean it isn't getting any easier waking up some mornings. Your body it takes a beating because you're playing every night and you can't take a night off. So overseas is high level, and that's what these young kids, this is like, some advice I always tell them is like, it's not sweet over here. You got to come and be a competitor because there's so many different levels, there's so many leagues. Don't get obsessed with what league you go to. Just go and try to be the best version of yourself, no matter what team you sign for. But ton of great places to play for young players, and it's not just the NBA. You can come over here and make a great living, and I've been very lucky to provide for my family. Living over here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I know from what I see on IG, you guys really embraced it, and you know, it's great to see that. Kyle, man, like here on Canada Hoops, we love to talk Canada basketball, which we've done a little bit already, and especially with guests who have played for the program. I'm just wondering, like you mentioned, what it's meant to you to do that and wear the red and white, but like, what have conversations been like for you and your dad specifically, just because he did it as well? Like, what are those chats like when he's now seeing you do it, and you're doing something that meant a lot to him as well?
Yeah, he's very supportive. He gets excited every time, I suit him up. So this last summer was extra special to him because I, kind of re-locked in and was able to be a part of the program again. And for us, it is special. And like we just think that Canada basketball is on the rise. I think it also, as fans, it's probably tough because that's all fans want to do is win. And these events are really, really difficult to win. You got countries who are raised from birth playing a certain style, and
Yeah.
we're trying to adapt to that style. And so I think it's been a challenge getting to the mountaintop, but I think we're on the rise. And I think the key will be just continuing to fight. And so It's what me and my dad talk about is it's a process, and you just got to stick with it and just keeping that faith alive. And I think we got the talent, we got the leadership, and I think the time is coming. I think we feel it, and I think that's why it hurts so much when Canada loses, is because we
Yeah.
all want it so bad. And as long as we all stick together and support and love each other, I think we're gonna keep going the right direction. I think we're heading there, and it's just about continuing to do it. And I feel the same pride the first time I've suited up for Canada than I do now. It's special every time, and so I don't take it for granted. And I hope I can continue to rock the red and white.
Yeah, no, I mean, well said. The program's grown so much, and I think about um, going back to even 2019, like you were on the World Cup team there. You led the team in scoring. I don't know if people, I'm sure if they're listening. I'm sure they might know that. You played for Nick Nurse there, um, and kind of a cool mix of players and some young guys and vets. But I think back to like that tournament and then going the next 4 years to the 23 World Cup, which took a huge pool of guys to qualify for and just dominated the windows. A lot of guys that have joined us on the podcast, did that. They played for the program to help qualification or they were playing in the World Cup and even on to the Olympics. Like what are conversations like with each other in terms of okay, this is what has to happen. We may not be on one team like you referenced earlier, when you've just played on it now, and just the willingness to come together to do it. Like, what are the chats like amongst the players in terms of that, man?
Yeah, I mean, amongst players, I think naturally players you're human, you want to be upset if you weren't invited to a window or
Right.
something like that, but you just have to always stay ready. And that's it's cliche, but for my story in itself, like you go through different cycles, you go through different coaches. And I play overseas 10 years. Every coach values something else. There might be a team over here that doesn't want me, but the next team does and values me. So for me, it's just staying true to myself and my game and continuing to work on my weaknesses every year in and year out. But in terms of the big picture, is like, you play in 2019, and then I'm not part of the program for a couple of years for different reasons. And then just staying ready and not taking it personally. And then if your phone rings, and instead of being mad about it, you get excited. And that's how I've taken that approach. And I was amped to get back and play, and I felt
Nice.
a huge, tremendous, personal win that I didn't give up, and I just stayed true with it. And I didn't know what to expect, and I think I'll be a part of it, moving forward for the foreseeable future. But having that said, nothing's promised. You got to show up every day, just like in Europe. So
Yeah.
you got to continue, to just grind until you retire. Then that different grind begins, and maybe I'll be co-host with Canada Hoops with you. But
Let's do it.
I don't
Let's
know.
do it, man.
So
You
yeah, so
guys
who
hear you
know who
guys heard it
knows?
here
Yeah.
first. You heard it here first. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you
What's
just gotta you just gotta always, yeah. So as
yeah.
a unit though, everyone's gotta be on the same page where it's, hey, you're part of the program, you're part of the family. Call upon be ready when you're called upon.
No, I love that, man. I mean, the old heads like me, like we're appreciating everything that everyone's done, and commitment and sacrifice to really grow this thing to get it to a point where there's more attention, more funding. Mike Bartlett, the CEO, is a friend of ours, and I know that's been his goal to just really elevate this program. And it takes everyone doing it, especially the players. Um, tell me about playing for Jay Triano, Pan Am Games, head coach Triano. He's joined us. We loved having Jay on the podcast. Just talk about maybe his approach as a coach, because you were a pretty young player then. Still, just what do you take away from Coach Triano, man?
I mean, he was one of those first guys. I think him back in the day was Roy Rana, another great coach. Those
Yeah.
guys were kind of my first experiences with Canada basketball. And at that time I was very young and I hadn't put it all together. So for them to have patience with me as a player, I wasn't all there yet. It got my feet wet with the program, and I'm forever grateful for that. And Jay, I think, was one of the first coaches when I was part of the program. And then, like I said, Coach Rana. I travel with him for some events, and they kind of helped me grow as a player development wise. All those guys, and just looking up to all those players, those veteran presences, the Joel Anthony's, the Kelly Olynyk's, just being around greatness.
Yeah.
Steve, when he was part of the program, just I learned a lot. I was trying to, just like my daughters are soaking up Italian, I was trying to soak up Canada basketball knowledge, and for that I'm forever grateful. And then I was able to go to school with his son Dustin Triano, so
Yeah.
I'm super close with him. So it's been fun. They breed basketball, that family. So it's always fun to see them and talk about them.
Nice, man. Who have you grown close with from your time with Canada basketball, like teammates, over the last while now? Like who stands out, guys that you've gotten to really know because of your time with the program?
I mean, definitely Pangos.
Yeah.
Kev has been a part of my life for a long time with Canada, and then obviously transitioned to Gonzaga, and then seeing him out here in Italy, a couple times over the years. It's been fun. I've got to see him overseas a lot, so he's one that sticks out. But these relationships, man, they're great because you might not see someone for a really long time. Even a guy like Kelly,
Yeah.
he moved up to the Pacific Northwest, kind of near me in Seattle. So it's been fun to know he's right there, and he's obviously still going strong in the NBA. So it's fun, man, and I share a love for sushi with that guy, so I can always
Nice.
bond on some good eats with him. And no, those are
Yeah.
two Zags that are always going to be close to me.
Nice. Congratulations to Kelly and his wife. They just had a little baby too, so I know their hands are
Oh
their hands
wow,
are
wow, yeah,
their hands are full. He was
yeah,
talking about that on the Spurs like media day, just how um, they're figuring that out as new parents, So,
yeah.
um, all right, Kyle, who is your top five or favorite five of all time for Canada basketball, man?
Well, I got to be loyal, got to put my dad there at the five position.
For
You need
sure,
a
yeah,
steady rebounder he doesn't need a ton of touches.
right,
He's going to get it off the glass. I'll go down from there. So then you got the four position. I'll go with Big Kells, man. You got the
nice,
FIBA basketball. That's a perfect player for that. Three position. I'll go. Got to keep the heads at the top happy. I'll put Rowan Barrett in there,
nice,
just to, because he's responsible for the roster making. So
yeah, yeah,
hopefully he hears this, and he'll show me some love in these next windows.
yeah,
Um, no, I also could put Wiggins in there, man. Andrew Wiggins.
yeah,
He's a dark horse. He's
for
won at the
sure,
highest level in the NBA and just knows how to play the right way. And then you obviously got to put Shea in there,
yeah,
greatest player right now, and still, just leads by example, his work ethic. And then Steve Nash, no
nice.
point. Grew up idolizing Steve on and off the court, so that's my guy.
No, that's a great five, man. I mean, I was figuring you'd throw the old man in there, and then,
Yeah,
Steve makes most fives when I ask that question for sure, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
think people are feeling like Shea's got to be a part of it now. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, great, man. That's a great five. They do a lot of damage for sure, man. No question.
for sure. Yeah.
Man, Kyle, any shout outs or thank yous before I get you out of here, man? And again, truly appreciate this.
Yeah.
Was really looking forward to it. Been a lot of fun, man.
No, yeah, I obviously thank you for getting me on here. Obviously, I mean, honestly, I just want to thank, Rowan and Bartlett, those guys, especially Rowe, bringing me back. It's been an honor to play for Canada. And then you kind of mentioned it, but they just keep elevating the program, man. You feel it with inside. You got the best fit. Every time I go there, whether I'm playing 5 minutes or 30 minutes, you get the best treatment. You're
Nice,
being taken care of like a true professional. The travel's on point. You just feel like you're taken care of instead of it being a burden and heavy travel. They really do their part in making this thing work. And so it takes a lot of funding, a lot of effort on their behalf, and you feel it. And because I've been a part of the program for a while now, you've seen that growth. And so, I just speaks volumes to those guys of how hard they're working.
oh man, well said, and great insight. It's great to see that the program's doing what they can to do right by you as players, and that the players are recognizing that and making the commitment and the sacrifice to keep showing up, man. Because this thing doesn't work with everyone pulling their weight, right?
For sure, yeah, and for the future, it doesn't matter if I'm on the court, on the bench, or sitting here with you. I'll be a fan of the program and I'll support them. So we just got to all do it together.
Yeah, I love that, man. Well, that's a wrap on another episode of Canada Hoops. I want to thank the sniper, Kyle Wiltjer, for pulling up. Thank you for listening. Remember to rate and review us wherever you get your podcast. Check out our YouTube channel. Hit us up on Instagram and X.com. Keep supporting Canada basketball and our Canadian Hoopers, and we will see you on the next episode.